Okay, so they're giving us some angles down here, and they're asking us to match up the names. So this is just practice with the names of angles. I just want to refresh your memory on what different angles are and their measures and stuff. So here's the notes. Again, this is the notes that that are on the in our Canvas course shell at the top of the Unit 1 module. Plus, I emailed them to you. So the exam number 1 notes at the top of the Unit 1 module. So this will help us. So here we go. An acute angle is an angle less than 90. A right angle, you probably already know, 90 degrees. An obtuse angle, more than 90. Straight angles, like a straight line, 180 degrees. Reflex angle, that I'd never heard that word before. That was kind of new to me. Is an angle like this, more than 180. And a full angle, that's all the way around 360. So as we dive into this question, let me first off really make sure I start from the beginning here. What is an angle? I think you definitely know. Pardon me if I'm being too fundamental, but I want to leave no stone unturned. So an angle is an amount of opening between two straight lines, right? An angle is a measure of the opening between two straight lines. And so why? Well, what do we call an angle like this? How many degrees is this?
$90.
Is 90 degrees, right? We put a box in the corner as a way of indicating it's 90 degrees. Now, here's my question. Why? Why in the world is that 90 degrees? I want to make sure that we don't just learn this like rules, because you guys are, I always enjoy teaching these classes because I'm teaching future teachers. So you really want to be masters of these concepts, not just those who can barely survive and barely get the questions right, but you're going to become a teacher of this. So you got to be a master. I'm sure you want to be a master to be a well-qualified teacher. So let me ask you, why? I mean, why is that 90? But let's go after the deep why and not just, hey, that's the rule. All right, here we go. Why? Why is that 90 degrees? Anybody know?
Because it's a quarter of a full circle.
Good job. Good job, Natalia. Yeah, right, because all the way around is 360, huh? And so this is a quarter of that. So a quarter of 360 is 90, just like this is 180 because it's halfway around, isn't it? Half of 360 is 180. So it's all because all the way around is 360, a full angle. But that really just pushes the question back, doesn't it? Why is all the way around 360? So we all agree it comes from the 360 thing, right? All the other angles come from the fact that all the way around is 360. So halfway around is 180, a quarter of the way around is 90. So my question is, why is all the way around 360? Did they just make that up? And if they did, why couldn't they just make it a nice even 100 or 1,000 or something? Why 360? That's kind of a weird number, isn't it? Why did they make all the, like I would have been for a nice clean 100. Wouldn't that have been easier? All the way around is a nice clean 100 degrees. And then a quarter would be 25, like money. We could do it like money. A quarter would be 25 and half would be, 50, like half a dollar. If they made all the way around nice 100, why didn't they do that? Why did they do three? Did they just make it up? Did they have to make it 360? What's up with that?
It's because the space in between both lines equals 90. And so if you do a complete flat line, it equals to 180.
Wait a minute, Martine. I think we're defining things one way and then the other. I mean, which came first, the chicken or the egg? In other words, if you're saying the 90, if you're saying, well, this is 90, so two of those is 180 and all the way is 360, I'll say for sure you're right. But what came first is my question. Did they first start with 90?
Would it be
and if
the
so,
circle, because the circle is 360 degrees?
Yeah, why, that's my question. Why is a circle 360 degrees? Why do we say that a full circle is why don't we say it's 100 degrees? Well, I mean, did they just make up that number? And let me tell you, the answer to that is yes, absolutely they did. They just made it up. They could have made it 100. Are you aware of that? They made it up. I don't know if you know, but all of math is made up. Every bit of math is made up. Math is a made up field. What are we even doing here today, folks? This is all made up. I know I'm joking, but I'm serious. Math is made up, but it's made up to describe things that are true and real in the real world and to help us deal with science and engineering and many things like that, as you know, in the real world. So yes, math is made up, but it's made up to describe things in the real world to help us deal with things in the real world. So they did make up this all the way around is 360. They could have made it 100. I wish they did. That would make the angles easier. But they didn't. They made it 360. So now let me push the question again. Why? Why in the world would they make 360 instead of a nice 100? What motivated that? Let me give you a hint. It's historical. It's not logical. There's no logical reason. Back when they first created angles, it was in the, I don't know if it was the 1600s or the 1700s, when they were navigating for the first time transatlantic voyages, going across whole oceans in ships. And they navigated using the stars. And that's when they first started using angles. They would tell their direction, their navigation, based on the angle heading from certain stars in the night sky. So that's when angles were first created. Okay. And back then, they didn't know quite as much about astronomy as we do now. So let me give you one more further hint. What do we know goes all the way around? More like 365.
Earth.
Yeah. We circle the sun every 365 days, don't we? Back when they came up with angles in the 1600s or 1700s, they estimated that we went around the sun about 360 days. They didn't have as close an estimate as we have. It's not even 365 exactly, right? That's why we have a leap year. And anyway, this isn't an astronomy class. I'll end it there, but that's it. I want you to know they made it up because they were like, well, we go around the sun about every 360 days. That's what they thought back then. And so let's make all the way around a circle. Let's make that 360 degrees. They made it up. They just started right there and made it up. And then everything else came from there. So I want you to know it was just totally made up. All right. So with that in mind, let's get back to the question. So what's an obtuse angle? Well, on mine, what would it be? On mine, I think it's going to be A there, isn't it? Yeah, because an obtuse, we go back to the definition. An obtuse is greater than 90, less than 180, like this right here. So yeah, so there's that one. So this is just an exercise in practicing this. So an acute angle, that's the C, that's angles less than 90, as the definition says here, acute angle less than 90. And then a straight angle, that's easy. That's just that straight line on F there. Full circle, that's easy also. That's just D, the full circle. Right angle, you know that one, that's B. Reflex angle, that's that big one that's more than 180, that's E. So on mine, there's how the answers go.